Okay, so welcome to this tutorial, and this tutorial is in a program called InDesign, which is a brilliant piece of software for putting something together like a magazine or a booklet or any piece of design really, but it does deal very well with documents that have multiple pages. So today I'm going to do a quick tutorial in putting together your design for your magazine spread. So the main thing about InDesign that you need to know is that you have to be very organized before you start to put your design together in InDesign. InDesign is what I would call a piece of software that compiles information very well. So for your magazine spread, it would be better if you had as much content as you needed before you get started in InDesign. So for example, you'd need your copy written. You would need your images ready to go. Any logos that you might need, you would have to have in Adobe Illustrator, and you would have to have all those files saved in the right format. If you don't do that, there's no problem. You can go in and you can update images, you can update the text, but it just makes it messier. And it is just much better for you to have everything ready to go. Now, sometimes in the real world, you won't have everything ready to go. Maybe the photographer won't have the photos taken, the content editor won't have the content written on time, and you can't sit around waiting for that. In a situation like that, you would use sort of dummy text and dummy images and then put the real ones in when you get them. And you would have to sit down with the photographer and maybe find out, well, what kind of photos are you going to take? Are they going to be portrait, landscape? And the content editor, you'd have to find out how many words are they going to write. And you could put dummy text in its place. It's still not an ideal situation, but unfortunately in the real world, these things do kind of happen. With this project, you have the luxury of being the content writer, and you can choose whatever images you like, and you're going to create your own images, so we don't have that problem. So the first thing I'm going to show you is I'm actually going to go into Photoshop. So I'm pretending that I'm making a magazine spread for Coco Chanel. So I went on the internet and I found some images. Now again, that's not an ideal situation. You guys are going to create your own original illustrations or photographs or images. But we might want to put in some images. For example, here's a nice sort of portrait of Coco Chanel. And really the best way to get a photograph like that would be on the internet. The only issue with that is the resolution won't be good enough, and the color mode more than likely will be RGB if it's from the web. So I've already gone in and changed these. I went into image mode. Now it was on RGB, but I changed it to CMYK. That's the first thing. The other thing is under image, there's an option here, image size. So more than likely all of these will be turned on. So if you turn them all off and change the resolution, I'm going to put it back to 72 to show you. At 72 pixels per inch, this image is, physically is quite big. It's 72 centimeters by 44. At 300 pixels per inch, which is print resolution, it's much smaller. It's 17 centimeters by 10. So we can't use that image any bigger than that on our magazine spread. So I'm going to click OK. So I have a selection of images here, and I've done the same thing with them. Now there's one last thing that I need to do, and that is all of these images are JPEGs. The best type of file to save these as, to bring them from Photoshop into InDesign, is a TIFF. So I'm just going to save some of these, save as, and we'll go TIFF. Now where I'm saving these is, I was very organized. I made a folder called InDesign Magazine, and in that folder I made another folder called Images, and I'm going to be very selective about what I put in there, only the images that I'm using in my magazine spread. And I'm going to name this a little bit better, although Andy Warhol Chanel number 5 is okay, but we'll call it Chanel perfume.tiff. Okay, so on these, image compression, leave it at none. Leave the pixel order, you can just leave it on the default one. And this one, IBM and PC or Macintosh, if you're on a Mac, which I am, and you guys will more than likely be, click on to Macintosh and click OK. This one I quite like. I'm going to save this, file, save as, And instead of JPEG, we want a TIFF. And images. Okay, save. And maybe that one. It's kind of similar to the previous one, but we'll save it anyway. And maybe that one too. I kind of like this section of that image. Okay, so TIFFs, remember that. Now, on the other hand, if you have an image or a logo, let's say, or some sort of illustration in Illustrator, you would save it out as an EPS. You'd have to check if it's CMYK as well and save it out as an EPS. So, now we can start an InDesign. The other issue is that I have that I'm pretending like the editor or the content writer hasn't given me any content yet. But I do know that the document is going to be approximately 800 words. So if I just go back here, there's a website, this website here, lipsum.com, is brilliant for generating Greek text, which is something that graphic designers use all the time when we're waiting on content to arrive. So down here, I can set this to give me 800 paragraphs. I want 800 words, so we just type 800 in there. And click this generate lorem ipsum, and what it does is this, all of this content here, that's 800, well, it's not approximately, it's exactly 800 words. So that will give us a good idea of the amount of space that's going to take up in our document. So I have that ready to go. The other thing is I have my iMagazine measurements here. So let's start an InDesign. So the width is 237 by 297. Okay. So if I go File, New, Document. Now you need to make sure that this facing pages is turned on. I want 3 pages, a front cover and a double page spread. And actually I already have the figures put in here from the last time. 237 mils by 297. The number of columns I want is 3. Now let's see. The gutters 6. So change that to 6. The margins. Okay, now with the margins you have to make sure that this little chain is clicked off. So our top margins are 9. Our bottom margins are 18. Inside, which we have named on our document here as right, but that's the same as our inside. And our left margins, our outside, are 10. And we click OK. Okay, so here's my document, and you can see here this little pages palette is quite handy if you click that on, so you can see it. We have our 3 pages, 1, 2, 3, and if I sort of scroll down here, so there you'll see our 3 pages. Okay, so that's not too bad. I'm not going to worry about the front cover, which is this page here. We'll go down to our double page spread. I'm just zooming out a little bit. So the next thing that I want to do, let's say for argument's sake I've already done a sketch where I have decided that I'm going to divide this page into 3. So I have 3 columns this way, and I'm going to divide it in thirds this way. So the grid I'm using is a 3 by 3 grid. So I know the height of this page is 297. 1/3 of 297 is 99 millimeters. So you'll see I already have my rulers up here. To get those up, if you go View, I'm going to hide the rulers and go View, Show Rulers, or if you're good at keyboard commands, it's Command R on a Mac. So I'm going to zoom in because, well, there's around about 9 there. You can see 5, that'll be 9, but let's zoom in a little bit so you can see the numbers a bit better. Okay, so we need 99. Let's keep zooming. Where is 99? 99 is, we'll go one more, is there. Okay. And actually, when I move this, see when I move this around, if you look up there, the X and Y coordinates, you can kind of see how close you are. So 99 is there. That's pretty accurate. Okay. For some reason, the guides decided they didn't want to show up, and then they decided they did. But that's just the beauty of technology sometimes. So let's bring it, there's a guide at 99. I don't know, it's decided to cooperate all of a sudden. And then we need another one. So that's, you can, if I zoom out, you can see that's approximately one, that, well, not approximately, it is 1/3 of the page. So we need one at 198, which is 170, 190. Oops. 198. Okay, and you'll see the guide is just on this left-hand page, but that's easily rectified. We will pull down another guide here and line them up. Another one there. Okay, so let's say I want to put an image. Let's say my design is as a Coco Chanel image, you know, taking up all of that space there. Let's say for argument's sake. If I go to File, Place, and I need to find my folder, so I put it in here. Where did I put it? Video lectures, InDesign magazine, images. Now, what I should probably do is take all of these JPEGs out of here because it just gets confusing. But we'll go with what we have. I'm looking for maybe, no, not that one. Not that one. Okay, that one, because it's kind of, that will fit into that space, I think. We might have to scale up a tiny bit. So let's go open. And what you'll see is this kind of shaded version of that image. If I click and drag, okay, now the image, the box will be kept proportional to the image. Okay, so my image appears there. And if we go down, we know that this is 297. I just want to double check in Photoshop that image. Image, oops. All right. Image size. Okay, it's 17 by 10. I've gone a little bit bigger than that. It might look a little bit pixelated or fuzzy. We can do a little test print and see. Where am I? InDesign. Okay, it might be all right. You're probably better off keeping it to a box that's 17-ish wide. And we've gone 297. We might get away with it. We'll see. So the next thing is when you want to play about with this image. So I'm thinking, you know, it's taking up a little bit too much space here. I want to tighten up this box around Coco Chanel here. In fact, you know, I might just have this image, the box taking up that much space. I don't know. Let's see what it looks like. Now, we have a problem here. The problem is that Coco Chanel is kind of all cropped. So there's two tools up here that you're going to find useful. This one here, the selection tool, and the direct selection tool. So with the selection tool, the selection tool is mainly for, I can take this box, I can move, I can decide to put this here or over there. Let's put it back up where it was. I can click on these bits here. I can decide to make it a little bit bigger, let's say, or smaller. If I use the direct selection tool, you'll actually see, sorry, before I click onto that one, the color around this box, if you notice, it's blue. Okay, so then I know I'm on the direct selection tool. Or sorry, I'm on the selection tool. If I click on the direct selection tool, which is the white arrow, and I click here, so see this orange box? That's the image. Okay, so I want to scale this image down a bit. Now, if I start to scale like this, ooh, Coco Chanel goes all weird. I need to hold down Shift. Okay, so I'm going to start scaling this image inside that box. So let's say I'm happy with that. I can go back up here and just click off first of all and click on the box, and then I can continue to move the box around independently. So that's quite a handy thing to know. Okay, next is putting type in. So that's putting an image in. It couldn't be simpler than that. You make sure your images are CMYK, 300 dots per inch, check the size of them. This would probably work better. If I click on this box and I look up here, it's 157 mils by 98. So it's approximately 16 centimeters by almost 10 centimeters. So the size of that is better. If you remember, the image was 17 centimeters wide. So the quality is going to look okay. Now, this is not a very good design, but because I'm just kind of doing this off the cuff, But let's say for argument's sake, I decided my text, I want, let's say 1, 2, 3 columns of text there, maybe, is my design. So the first thing I'm going to do is go up to my type tool and click. And you can click and drag boxes, essentially, to put your type into. Now I have to fix that one because it doesn't quite, and this one. Okay, we want to be a bit more precise than that. If I click here and drag that up, now we've no text in it at the moment, but that's okay. We're going to go into lipsum.com. Okay, so let's say my design is 3 columns of text there. Let's go into lipsum.com. I'm going to take all of this type down as far as here. I'm going to Command C, copy that into InDesign. Okay, now there's something in InDesign called style sheets that is very, very handy. What it does is you set up the fonts, the sizes, the colors of various elements in your document. So for example, if I go up to, I'll open them up first of all, Window, Styles, and what I want to set at the moment is what's called a paragraph style. Okay, so if I go up on this palette, there's a little menu here, New Paragraph Style, and we're going to name it something logical. So magazine body text. Okay. If I go into basic character formats, and we knew it was News Gothic. Now do I have, I do, look, News Gothic. Regular. Now we haven't checked the point size yet, but let's say it is 10 point type over 12 point leading. There are some other bits and bobs in here. This is quite handy, hyphenation. If you don't want any hyphens, which I don't like hyphenations, I'm going to turn that off. If you don't mind, you can turn it on. You can also set it here, like, you know, words with at least 5 letters, how many spaces before and after. I normally just turn it off. Justification. If you want it justified or not, we're going to leave it at left aligned. What else might you need to know? Colors, let's see. Where is it? Character color. Okay, we're leaving it on black. Okay, but let's say for argument's sake your body text was going to be a grey or, you know, a pink or whatever. I don't know why you'd have pink text, but anyway. You can click in here. You can put the CMYK values in. If you wanted a particular Pantone color, you can click in here, and all of your Pantone books are here. Okay, so you'd go into Pantone Solid Uncoded and pick the one that you want. Okay, but we are going to leave it at black, and I'm going to click OK. So the next thing is back to my type tool, and I'm going to click into this text box. Now I've already copied the Lipsum, the Greek text, so I'm just going to go edit, paste. Okay, so at the moment it's set here to basic paragraph, so don't worry about that. We'll come back to that in a minute. You'll notice that I've got 1 column of text here, and what I want to happen is I want the text to go from the bottom of this column to the top of that one and then into this one. So you'll see if I zoom in, there is a little red dot there. See that kind of little red thing there? So if I go up to this again, the direct selection tool, and click on that, I get this kind of shaded version of my type, and if I click up there, it'll fill up there. Again, I'll come up here, click up there. Okay, so what we've discovered is 800 words doesn't fit in these 3 columns. Now there's one other thing we have to do, and that is, let's just go in here, and if I sort of keep clicking, it selects everything. Let's change it to our style that we set up, iMagazine body text. Okay, so this is our correct body text, 10 over 12. Now 10 might be too big. Okay, let's go back in, iMagazine body text. I'm going to click into that. Basic character formats. I'm going to change it to 9/11. Well, they have it 10.8. Let's say it's 9/11. I click OK. Oh, it's not letting me do that. Oh, it's setting it to, yeah, there's a standard 9.10.8. So we leave it at that. That'll be okay. Okay, so you can see when we brought the point size down and changed the leading. Do you know what? I think the leading, a little bit tight. Okay, we'd have to do a little test run. What I would do is print this out, a section of this, and I would get iMagazine and I would line it up against it and check that it's okay. I'm going to leave it for now. Now, there's a few little things that I noticed. For example, you know, I'm reading down here and down along here, and there's one tiny little sentence there. You know, I'm going to sort of compensate a little bit. I'm going to drag this. I want to get rid of that there. Now, I know we've gone sort of below here, but we would get away with that. So that is putting in your body text. Now, at this point, you're going to have to decide, make some decisions. You know, I've got a big white space there. I didn't think that was going to happen. So, you know, let's have a look. I'm kind of thinking I might bring these down a bit. What if I brought it to kind of halfway here? You know, if I went, I lined these all up. You know, maybe, let's have a look. You know, something like that might be better. So this is magazine design for you. You're kind of, as you're starting to move things around, you have to compensate somewhere. So now you can see I have a red box here, which means I'm running out of space. So I need another column. I might decide, I might put some body text here, maybe. Continue it on over here. Oops. Click and click. Okay, I'm going to bring a guide down here and just line those up as well. Okay, so there, obviously there are some of the basics. This is by no means a magazine spread by any stretch of the imagination. We still need to have things in there like more images, quotes, pull quotes and things like that. You know, we need to set some headings, but I mean, this is not a bad start. I think now that you know how to put in images, text, I mean, it's pretty obvious, I think, at this stage. If I wanted a heading, this is a heading. Okay, let's zoom in on it. What we can do for this is, I'll show you something else in style sheets. So we have paragraph styles, which is for big kind of long paragraphs of type. We can also set character styles, which will be better for something like just a heading. So we click in here to character styles, go new character styles, and we'll call this heading, let's call this a small heading. Basic character formats. We want, let's say we want News Gothic, or let's go for something else. Let's say, for argument's sake, I don't know, let's say Futura. Okay. And maybe not, you know, do you know something? We'll stick with News Gothic. LMN. Where is News Gothic? There it is. And we'll go News Gothic Bold. And we'll make it a little bit bigger. Let's say it's 14. Let's try 14. And let's say, for argument's sake, we want our headings to be a different colour. Let's go in here. Nope. Or let's pick a Pantone. Let's say it was going to be Rubine Red. Ooh, no, let's go warm red. Now there's millions of them. Okay, so we'll just go with that. It's kind of an orangey red. And you'll see it appears down here. Okay, so if I want this heading to be the format of heading small, I'll click here. And you can see it automatically makes that heading the right colour and font and everything else. Let's just turn our guides off. So it's starting to come together. It's not, by no stretch of the imagination is this a magazine spread, but I think you can see how to put type in, how to put images in, and how to set style sheets, and that's a really, really good start. So yeah, if you could get started on that kind of thing, that would be super. So talk to you later.